president reading from a script. It looked like he was reading from notes. Were those comments written out for him in some form?
Okay. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Audrey.
No, it's okay.
No, finish. I want you to finish your statement. I'm sorry.
It would be useful to know whether there was a prepared remark that he was reading from, and if so, whether that should have been changed or whether he was ad-libbing.
A couple of things. I'm not going to get into specific here. It's not unusual for a president or the vice president or any elected official to have notes in front of them when they're speaking to a crowd or to a group of people. That is not unusual. What I can say is the president wanted to make sure that his words were not being taken out of context, and so he wanted to clarify, and that's what you heard from the president. He was very aware, and I would say I think it's really important that you have a president that cares about clarifying what they said.
His language was not specific. It came out, if you were listening to that video.
I was in the room, Almer. I was in the room.
I'm sure, but if you were listening,
but
if you were any sort of normal person listening to that video or looking at the clips online, you could come to the conclusion that he was calling, at minimum, this one man garbage, or not, if not all Trump supporters garbage. Does he regret not being more precise with his language? And does he also?
I'm waiting for the question to end because keep going.
And I apologize.
Yeah,
the second part
ahead.
of that is, does he have any regret for how this has shadowed Vice President Harris's campaign?
So a couple of things there, because there's a lot that you laid out. Look. The president wanted to clarify because he understood that what he may have said he understood that what he was saying was being taken out of context. So he wanted to be very, very clear about what he was trying to say.
Does he think less of Americans who support Trump than he does of those who do not? Yeah. And two, why is he using that kind of rhetoric? How is that presidential?
So a couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage, which is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say. And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching.
Vice President is facing questions about his comments today. So does the president regret at all the distraction this is causing from her campaign in these final days?
Here's what I'll say. Yes, the vice president spoke to this, and she said herself that the president clarified these statements.
So those comments were made as the vice president was speaking about unity at the Ellipse last night. Did the president speak to the vice president before or after that speech?
Well, I think in a gaggle that the vice president did not too long ago, she confirmed that she had a conversation with the president. The president was very proud of the vice president. She gave a historic speech last night, and he certainly wanted to congratulate her.
So that was after the speech.
That was after the speech.
And did the president make any reference to these remarks or apologize to the vice president?
What I can say is I'm not going to get into private discussions here. That's not something that we do from the podium. I'm not going to do that. But the president and the vice president speak regularly. That is not uncommon. She is the vice president. He is the president. So obviously they have direct communications pretty often. And he did have a conversation last night because he was proud of her historic speech, and he wanted to congratulate her. And again, they speak regularly.